that we should have invested in him. I think.
But who plays, Haller or Antonio? Who plays out of them two?
Well, I think they're going to try and play them both, to be honest, and I think that's what West Ham fans have been trying to call for. We were going a little bit safe to try and avoid relegation. But Antonio can play on the wing and play up front. So I think playing them both, and that's what Haller the Hammer needs. He needs some sort of support. He's not really just that lone striker. So I think he could stick under the radar in terms of FPL.
And I tell you what, your team, mate, they're all very cheap. There's no player over 6.5 million that plays for West Ham.
That's true. And the only one I would, other than that, would mention, and I think he will be our best player of the season, is my prediction. He's going to be Bowen. He's going to be Jared Bowen. He's very creative. He's gets amongst the goals, and he's really good with assists as well. Again, only 6.5 million. So
how have you been doing?
I would put my money on Jared Bowen.
How have you been doing the pre-season games?
So Bowen himself, he scored twice, got a couple of assists as well. West Ham, we've won all our pre-season games against, other than that Bournemouth game. We actually played your beloved Wycombe Wanderers captain as well. So and we beat those 5-1 as well. So, but you can't. That's not much to scream about. Is it? But
glad you asked, mate. He's wanted to get that in.
But I think you hit the nail on the head there, Jimmy. I think value is what we're going to be saying for West Ham. But because of the tough opening fixtures, I wouldn't be going all in just yet on West Ham. It's going to be important. We could be bottom of the league by Christmas, to be honest, because literally every single team that we've got come up against, if we don't beat Newcastle early doors, then we could be struggling.
I do like that advice, though, fellas. It's like, I wouldn't be going all in because, I mean, none of us were considering that, mate. No one was going all in on the Hammer. I mean, to be honest with you, what I think is the reason everyone's 6.5 is because you don't know who's going to play. I feel like you're a bit of a Man City. Yarmolenko's 6 million. He's all right. Is he?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, is he going to play?
That was the argument of Dean Garner going. They were saying, well, you've got too many players in the same position, but he was looking good, and that was it. Felipe Anderson hasn't done it, in a long time. Yeah. Yarmolenko,
he's still there. Anderson, he's got to go.
Yeah, he's still there. He's 6.5 as well. He had a poor season last season. Lanzini's not the same player since he was injured. So I think, Souček, Bowen, and then it's up to, it's going to be, you can take a punt on Antonio or Haller the Hammer because they're going to get goals.
Okay, man, I have to cut you there. We're going to the last team, Wolves.
Oh, what sake.
Who's got Wolves? Who's been looking at the Wolves? I
was looking at Wolves, and I would say there's the big talking point is Johnny is injured at the moment. He's the regular wing back, and this Vinagre was playing the last few games of the season. He looked quite good. He gets up the wing. He's quite an attacking wing back, and at 4.5 million, he could be a real bargain. And he's going to be playing in those first few games for Wolves, whilst Johnny is still injured, and it could be a lengthy layout for him as well. So. The long term as well. They've signed Fabio Silva. He's a teenager from Porto. Looks like a good young prospect. Will he start? He's at 5.5 million, which is actually pretty expensive for maybe someone who's going to be sitting on the bench at first. Because Jimenez, as we know, at 8.5 million, he's going to be leading the line. Alongside maybe Neto, Jota, and Traore. We know what they can all do. They still offer good value. I would say Traore 6.5 had the best season of his career last season, so he could be one to watch. And then you can never really ignore Moutinho and Neves as well because they're great centre midfielders. They get involved with the free kicks and the set pieces. So I wouldn't look past them. But yeah, Jimenez if I'm going to pick someone. But that Vinagre at the wing back is a good cheap option.
Guys. That is brilliant. That has been a really good insight to every single team. Listeners, I hope that you've taken a lot from that. There is so much there. There's so much to decide. There's so many players in every single position that are a certain amount of money. And I think, guys, what we have to now do to give our listeners the best intel is let them into a little bit of what we're going to be doing in the LeftBack FPL team. Pellers, you're the manager. for the first game week. What are you looking at in goal?
In terms of goal, I would start with Lloris. I think he's 5.5. He also allows us to swap him straight for Pope if we want to go for Nick Pope. But he's not starting that first game of the season. So I think.
Do you think we should keep the same goalkeeper for the whole season?
No,
not necessarily. I just think for that first opening game week. I mean, you tell me, but at least we can swap him out. Because I don't think I would be going with Lloris for the whole season.
Yeah, but what if you've got two goalies that you can choose? Do you choose those two goalies and keep them the same for the whole season or not?
I mean, you can do the two cheaper goalies and swap them around throughout the season, right? So you can go for like someone like McCarthy, and one of the other cheaper options, or Ryan from Brighton, for example, and just swap them around. That is something we could maybe go for. Just depending on their fixtures. But yeah. I mean, personally, I would always still go for Pope though. Like as soon as we can get him in, I think he spoke volumes. He's a bit more pricey now, but he was just world class.
I tell you what, Pellets, just had a brainwave. In the next 1 minute, us other four lads are all going to tell you the goalkeepers that we would go for, and then you can let us know at the end. So we've got 1 minute between the four of us, so it's got to be quick, boys. 15 seconds each. Captain, what goalkeepers?
Consistently go with Pope like I did for the whole of last season.
NVD?
Carthy, Southampton, differential.
Vieira?
Well, I'd say Pope, but I don't think he's playing for the first game, is he? So
that's true.
So maybe a differential in Ryan.
That's the problem, isn't it? I was thinking about that. The fact that you might not want Pope because he's not playing the first week, but at the same time, do you want to use your one transfer the following week or the week after on a goalkeeper? Probably not, especially when United and Man City aren't playing the first week.
And do you want to spend more money elsewhere, right? Because you don't always get the top price, costs. It's very, clean sheets are few and far between, especially for some of these goalkeepers if you're not going with one of the top four teams.
Hellers, that's the time, but I wanted to throw in Dubravka for you because I think that Newcastle have got an easy start. They've got West Ham and Brighton. So where are you going, mate? Everyone shouted Pope, really. What are you thinking?
Well, yeah, but Pope's not starting the first game, so we can't really go with him for the, sort of have to rule him out just for game week one. I'm leaning towards Lloris, but I'll be open. I like the McCarthy shout, to be honest. I think that he's, obviously playing in a team that I could see a clean sheet, so I'll have to debate about that one. But again, going back to the reason we do want Pope, you can easily swap 5.5 to 5.5. It's a lot easier than having to reshuffle your team over the next few weeks just to get Pope in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but then like you say, Lloris, that's a good point, mate, because Lloris is 5.5. I mean, McCarthy's how much? 5, did you say?
4.5.
4.5.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 4.5. His opening fixtures aren't too bad as well, so they're pretty favourable.
Yeah, that's a good backup keeper, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to defence. Pellers, you're going to have to give us 2 minutes here because there's a lot of defenders. So we'll take 30 seconds each to throw some out at you. You let us know what you're going to do end of. So, NVD, do you want to kick it off with the defenders?
Got to have Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh, well, that was obvious, isn't it? Is that it? Is that the only one?
I would say, other than that, maybe Lascelles for Newcastle. I think going back to your point around Newcastle with their fixtures, and I think they solidify the team. I think it's a good shout. Other than that, Peters from Burnley because he's cheap. If we want to save money elsewhere.
On to Captain Russ. What do you think, mate? Defence?
I'd definitely go for Doherty, especially with the Spurs first few games. Robbo from Liverpool. I don't think I can afford.
Yeah.
Isn't Trent Arnold? Is he not injured, or is he not? It's not 100%. He's going to be playing first week.
He's not injured. I think he's fit.
Yeah, he's playing for England.
All right. And I would choose I would definitely get a Burnley defender in there.
I think that question there though is right. You're saying Robertson for Liverpool. He's quite expensive, right? Him. Or Trent. We have it all the time. Like, is Trent worth more? Is an extra 0.5? Is it worth saving that money?
Probably not. But if you've got the money, then yeah, you buy Trent. But it's...
It depends whether you think 500,000 is worth 30 points.
What do you think, Pellers? You're the manager week one.
I think you can't ignore Trent. I think we'll be we'll be missing out because we'll take him out of the team. He'll go and bang in a free kick or something like that. So I think at 7.5, when you compare him against the points that he had per million, he's still cheap really compared to the rest of the rest of your team as a whole. Where you're spending so.
True. That's very diplomatic. Patrick Vieira, what are you thinking, mate? Defence?
I'll take a look at, I've mentioned him before, Stevens with Sheffield United.
I told you love Sheffield United.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
That tattoo, look at it, it's proud and...
It's stripy red and white.
I think you captained Stevens last year. You're a Stevens fan. So sorry, mate. So you going Stevens and who else?
Well, we've already got Trent by the sounds of it, and then the Vinagre. Is it?
Vinagre, yeah.
Vinagre for Wolves.
Vinagre. Cool. Pellers, I'll throw in a couple from my side. I think Everton have got a very easy start in a way. Only because, the first game's Tottenham, but then West Brom, Palace, Brighton. I think that's easy enough. And Seamus Coleman, for me, he's a decent player. Didn't really play a lot last season because he was injured a lot of the season. But historically, he's been okay. Either him or Digna, whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Million, whereas Coleman's 5 million, which is why I've thrown him in. And then my other kind of thought is Man United. Defensively, mate, I think from a Man United perspective, Chris Smalling's just come back from Roma and he's 5 million.
Man United, are they consistent enough, especially on the opening? You think they're going to start strong, not letting any goals?
I mean,
Maguire things.
Top 3 last season, 13 clean sheets. I said it earlier, Williams, right? But I'm a Man United fan, so that's where my heart comes in, isn't it? So that's why you're the manager. You've got the advice from all of us.
There is something I wanted to just quickly post to you guys, and really just a general consensus about this whole tricky first game week, because there's some big teams not playing. We've mentioned Pope and Burnley, Man United, Man City. We're going to want some of those players, in our team. Do we just do a wild card early doors? I know that's going to be FPL managers are going to be doing that potentially in game week 2. So we just go with our strongest team for game week 1 and do an early wild card, or do we just work them in gradually as the next game weeks go on, like we say, swapping in Pope, swapping in Fernandes and De Bruyne?
I like that thinking. NVD looks like he's deep in thought. With a very smart answer.
I made the huge mistake.
I wish I had a smart answer. No, I think that's a good shot. I think it's good to get off to a strong start. I think the early Wildy is worth playing, to be honest. So I think
how early, guys? Like week 2?
Yeah, latest game week 3, right?
Really? I think that's not a bad shot. See how everyone's performing. What about the system of perhaps getting Man City and Man United players in, but leaving them on your bench for the first game week?
That's another strategy, and I think that's what we need to collectively decide in this first game week, because it's gonna, it'll depend. It'll have an impact on who we choose for that first week. So it's a toss-up.
We're trusting you to set us up, mate. Don't it up. Because we'll forever blame you. But tell us defensively, though. Defensively there, we all threw out a few players. Was there any you liked, or are you thinking?
Yeah, to be honest, Alexander-Arnold, Doherty and Vinagre, ones I'm looking at, but you give me some food for thought with a few of your other choices there, so might have to go back to the drawing board. But I think Trent, we can all safe to say that we're all agreement in Trent's probably the first name on the team sheet. So there we go for the defence.
Excellent. Okay, midfield. On to midfield. 30 seconds. Patrick Vieira, what are you thinking midfield-wise?
This is the trickiest section, I think. Aubameyang, he's at 12 million. Yeah. Then, De Bruyne, 11.5. And then Fernandes at 10.5. I think you could just go on and on with midfield. I think it's very difficult. But yeah, I've thrown out 3 big names there, so you lot can pick the
Well, it's like one or the other, isn't it? So I'll jump in with the next 30-second segment. I think it is one or the other. What I would say, fellas, is we need to beat the other poddies, right? Now, we've got to start thinking, where are they going, where are they not? Baby Raheem, right? He's 11.5. He's in 4% of teams compared to what Vieira said there with Aubameyang.